Anne-Elisabeth Moutet, French journalist and columnist, who's joining us. Anne-Elisabeth, thank you for your time. We've got President Macron calling this an act of absolute cowardice, but something that's put the nation into shock.
It is, and you have reactions from all politicians left and right, and mayors, especially in this region of Savoie, which is very touristic and sort of was looking forward to a summer, one of the first summers in which there was no worry about COVID. So it's atrocious, it's children, it's unprecedented, and it's rocking the country, definitely.
Police are sort of issuing a few more details, saying that he's has no known links to Islamist groups, but was granted refugee status as a Syrian refugee in Sweden before then travelling to France. Clearly, the French authorities will want to know his movements, if there are any other links, and what on earth the sort of lead up to this. I mean, some reports suggesting he'd been seen in the park on days, if not weeks, previously.
Yes, and one rumour, and I've not managed to get confirmation from the police, is that actually he is not a Muslim at all. He's a Christian from Syria. So that would certainly destroy one of the narratives that are going out today, which is probably a good thing. But we don't know anymore, and it's interesting that the press conference has been delayed. I think that in the political context, and it sounds incredibly cynical to say there's a political context to this, but in a political context where politicians can make a mistake very fast and lose their jobs as a result, they're being very careful. I will remind you, more than 10 years ago, of the terrorist act in Madrid in the train station.
I think we may have lost you there. You were just indicating about Madrid, yes. But of course we've seen other terrorist outrages in Paris. We remember the Bataclan attack, the theatre, of course. This is a totally different environment. This beautiful lakeside town at the foothills of the Alps, with no known sort of tensions of various local communities or immigrants and so on.
Yes, but we've seen this in other places where you don't have notable tensions. You remember that there was the attack on Bastille Day in Nice, for instance. We've had these in small towns as well. France is a big country, but it's easy to travel through it. And in the case specifically of this man, we will see whether he was a network, but the first indications are that he didn't.
And just looking that the President Macron has denounced what he called a de-civilization process in the country. But I gather that opposition lawmakers, we had the Parliament with this minute's silence earlier, saying that his government has been too lax on law and order. I guess inevitably this is going to start feeding into the political narrative as well.
It is feeding very much into the political narrative. And because there's a French bent in politics to invent a word or to refresh an old word, and then the word belongs to the politician who's used it first. So that there's a problem with violence in the country is something that's felt everywhere, because decivilization was lobbed into the political discourse by Emmanuel Macron. It's seen as a Macron term, as a Macron political sleight of hand, if you will. But the entire country reacts to this. We're not near a national election, we're near the European elections. We'll see whether it has a result. But we also know that the person who's running against Emmanuel Macron in the second round of last year's presidential election was Marine Le Pen. She's become very careful. She wants to be like Giorgia Meloni and be elected the next time. She hasn't commented on this yet. As I said, it's now the object of lots of calculations by French politicians.
Yeah, and clearly Elizabeth Bourne is there speaking to officials at the moment. But just one more thing, Anne-Elisabeth, is just to ask you what the reaction has been in the French media so far. I guess it may be that, like the rest of us, they're still trying to put the details together to get a complete picture.
It's early days. They have to retrace where the has been from Sweden, why he was there, why he was locked. It's a free country. It's an open day public park. There are lots of witnesses, which is one thing, but to find out, you've got the police, you've got a special unit which has come from Paris to investigate. You've got the local gendarmerie, so you've got at least three bodies that are working together on this. But it will take time.
Yeah.